The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Jess De Los Santos. Partido Federal ng Pilipinas is asking the COMELEC to investigate and penalize Commissioner Rowena Guanzon. That's for disclosing her vote in a disqualification case against presidential aspirant Bongbong Marcos. Marcos Jr.'s political party insists that Guanzon should be disbarred with forfeiture of her retirement benefits and lifetime pension. Partido Federal claims that Guanzon destroyed COMELEC's reputation when she publicized her separate opinion yesterday. Recall that Guanzon said that she had her separate opinion as early as January 17. She also believes that the resolution on Marcos Jr.'s disqualification case is deliberately being delayed so that her vote would no longer count. The COMELEC has finally released voting protocols for the upcoming May elections. At the same time, the poll body has issued guidelines for presidential and vice presidential debates. Jen Calimon with the story.
The Commission on Elections has laid down guidelines for voting under the new normal. Voters must present their vaccination cards at the polling places to show that they are fully vaccinated. Those unvaccinated or partially vaccinated will have to show a negative swab test result. Face shields will also be required.
Election day, very important po na hindi kayo pwedeng bumoto, hindi kayo papayagang bumoto nang hindi kayo naka-face mask and unfortunately nang hindi kayo naka-face shield. Okay? Alam ko maraming nagrereklamo na may face shield pa rin kami. Pero hindi pa po namin tinatanggal yung face shield requirement. Nagko-consult pa rin kami ata sa DOH.
Voters will also be undergoing health screenings. If they show any symptoms of COVID-19, they will be placed in an isolated polling place where they will be able to vote. Those without symptoms will proceed to the voter assistance desk to know which room they will enter.
Pagdating doon sa sa mismong presinto, mag-identify siya sa sarili niya and then makikita niya na yung ating mga iba't ibang mga teacher doon ay nakatago sa likod ng mga acrylic boxes, no?
Okay. Parang mga store, di ba?
Opo, ganun din po ang mangyayari doon sa ating counting machine. Medyo may mga protocols din tayo kung paano gagamitin yung counting machine nang hindi hinahawakan yung mismong makina.
Ballpens and markers will be sanitized every after use. Voters are also free to use the sanitation kits installed in each classroom. COMELEC says a voter needs at least 5 minutes to cast their votes based on last year's mock elections. The entire process, though, will last up to 30 minutes. The number of poll watchers inside the precincts will also be limited to ensure physical distancing. Meanwhile, the Commission is also preparing the Memorandum of Agreement for the debates it will host for candidates of national posts. The MOA will cover what the candidates can bring to and expect from the debates. But the Commission stressed that attendance is not required.
And it's never been mandatory, in fact. But in our history, sa experience natin, nakikita natin na kapag COMELEC ang nag-organize, 100% attendance po naman. No? Maliban na lang kung merong legitimate na health concerns, no, na nakita natin in the past. But other than that, the compliance of the candidates have been very good. The candidate refuses to attend. If a candidate refuses to attend, their podium will remain empty.
Okay.
So we will make a big deal of the fact that they're not there.
Reporting for News 5, Jen Calimon, we are One News.
The Octa Research Group reports that new cases in Metro Manila and nearby provinces are now on a downward trend. On Twitter, Professor Guido David says the COVID-19 reproduction number in NCR is now at 0.52, while case growth has dropped to negative 67%. Cases in Batangas, Cavite, Laguna, and Rizal are also on a downtrend. Despite these, Octa says NCR remains at high-risk classification, along with Batangas, Cavite, Laguna, and Quezon. Rizal, meanwhile, has improved to moderate risk. Now, the Labor Department says unvaccinated individuals working in Alert Level 3 areas may qualify as displaced workers. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III told Agenda that workers who are retrenched, terminated, or unable to report to work because of their vaccination status are considered displaced. That means they can apply for the agency's 5,000 peso cash dole-out program.
I advise yung mga workers like to apply for yung ayuda namin na 5,000 cash assistance na they can consult our PESO, ito yung Public Employment Service Officer in all municipalities, or they can go to our regional or field offices and get assistance from them.
The Philippines is again the worst place to be during the pandemic. That's according to Bloomberg's COVID-19 Resilience Ranking. This is the third time in the past 5 months that the country ranked the lowest out of 53 economies in handling the global health crisis. The Philippines' resilience score was at 48.3 this month, down from 52 in December, when it slightly climbed to the 50th spot. Bloomberg attributes the latest ranking to the government's challenges in administering vaccines in remote areas and seeing an Omicron surge worse than any other Southeast Asian countries. Scientists found that COVID-19 patients who survived hospitalization have a higher risk of dying or getting readmitted for the disease within months. More of that story in this Bloomberg Quick Take. A trustee of the Center for Media Freedom and Responsibility slams the awarding of ABS-CBN's frequencies to networks backed by personalities linked to President Duterte. On One News's The Chiefs, veteran journalist Vergel Santos said he believes that the awarding of ABS-CBN frequencies to Duterte's allies is part of a plot. This scheme, according to Santos, started when Duterte went after ABS-CBN and threatened to shut down the network.
In fact, Duterte has always had a sure vote in Senator Villar, and apart from that, has another Villar in his cabinet. Oh, no, two actually, because the wife is Undersecretary of Justice. Now, how close can you get to Mr. Duterte? And Kibuloy, for his part, I mean, the relationship goes even much further. As far back as the mayoral days of Duterte in Davao City, where Pastor Kibuloy, Kibuloy's church is based. So the relationships, walang bago eh. Walang nakakabigla.
Meanwhile, former DICT Acting Secretary Eliseo Rio believes congressional franchises will no longer be needed in the future. Rio explains that with advancements in technology, anyone can have the reach as wide as TV stations through the internet.
Well, actually, I think we are behind because we never amended or modernized the Act number 3846 since 1931. It's still the same law that we are applying up to now.
So considering the evolution of the technology, down the road you're seeing that one day we will no longer need congressional franchises for this industry.
Yes, because right now technology is showing us that, you know, a private person can really broadcast, have as many subscribers as ABS-CBN, as long as he has the content, no, that people are interested in.
Here's a quick look at some of today's headlines. COMELEC Commissioner Rowena Guanzon reveals her vote to disqualify presidential aspirant Bongbong Marcos. But she also claims that a political influence is delaying the release of her division's resolution. Manila Mayor Isko Moreno claims there's a revenge plot between Marcos Jr. and Vice President Leni Robredo should any of them be elected president. And the Octa Research Group says a COVID resurgence is now unlikely in Metro Manila, but the Interior Department says it's not yet time to ease restrictions. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Jess De Los Santos. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe. Philippines, we are One News.